question's gonna be.
Welcome back to Sunday. Quiet down. The deck will be back. Elijah will be leading prayer today.
Dear God, we thank you for advocate today, glorifying food. God, that you would continue to work in our hearts as we help us live our lives.
Okay, roll call. Okay, so this question's a little bit weird today. My mother gave it to me, so none of you can say anything bad about it. So we all love our Thanksgiving meal, and if you don't love the Thanksgiving meal, please don't say that. I will not tolerate any Thanksgiving meal in this room today. But if you could have your Thanksgiving meal in some other form, such as a candy, a smoothie, or my cousin Jeff, who owns Vermontos in Burlington, Vermont, makes a Thanksgiving pizza every year, what would you want your Thanksgiving food to be, or like the form of it to be, if that makes sense? Michael Camilleri, not here today. He also emailed me, can I have the question of the day 3 hours ago? Got back to him in 7 minutes, never got a response. So,
Great.
Okay.
The best one today.
he can't ask for the question of the day, get it within 7 minutes and not ask. Okay.
Yeah, what's it?
Like, okay, if you could have your Thanksgiving food in some other like form, like a candy that's like a Thanksgiving candy, what would it be? Yeah.
It's like the Oreo.
Madison Dutchfield. Madison. Okay. Okay, we're just Matthew Dunn's proxy, Luke Monson.
Here, I guess in the form of a pill. It's a supplement.
Destiny Harris's proxy, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Here. I guess I would say taco.
Charlie Bacon.
Right here, no modifications.
That was not an option, but okay. Caitlin Curtin.
Maybe in the form of like a pie.
Richard Camus.
Sandwich.
Pat Thiessen.
Deep fried.
Kyle Lochner.
SpongeBob, they had a food transporter where it would serve from the table to your stomach.
Well, beans, man. Andy Tomko. Nachos. I was gonna say that. Luke Williams. Josephine Oladoy. Karen Wilson.
It's a burrito.
That was gonna be my second option. Michelle Safarino.
A sandwich.
Edward Curry.
Tacos.
Jack Rankin.
Okay.
John Gibbons.
Shot.
Adeline Glover.
Maybe like a Lunchable.
That's creative. Kate Rector.
Panini.
Ooh, I love a good panini. Anna Kate Carlisle.
Ice cream.
Ooh, yes, that's what my mom said. Joey McCullen.
Milkshake.
Mm-hmm. Connor Klimek.
Great flavor.
Nathan Ward's proxy, Josh Warren. Angelica Serna.
Maybe drop through rice like sushi.
Ooh, I like sushi Thanksgiving. Riley Evers.
A pizza.
Alena Rawson.
Can I say like the Snoopy Thanksgiving?
Yes, I will always accept a Snoopy alternative. Ben Solom.
That's the part.
James Colley. Rylan Cooney. Kyle C. Teo Awe. Laurel Hamilton.
I was gonna say pie, but I'm gonna have to go with Snoopy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I figured. In the best way possible. Zine Davila.
Stoop.
Gabriel Polanecki.
Good idea.
Bella Vasquez. Molly Schwartz.
Also sandwich.
Libby Meister.
Or wrap.
Caitlin Garcia. JT Augustin.
Also Snoopy Thanksgiving.
Benton Fisher.
It was sweet.
Interesting. Aaliyah Applin? Okay, so if you could have your Thanksgiving meal in any other form, like in a candy or a pizza, what would it be? My mom gave me this question, so you can't say anything bad about it.
I wasn't going to, can I say I don't know?
Sure, but I'm gonna slightly, you know what, never mind.
Okay.
Diego Pappas Gonzalez.
A cheeseburger.
Crazy answer. Leo Long.
Ice cubes.
Kelsey Casella's proxy is Enia Placio.
Probably a cookie.
Danny Ward. Danny. Elijah Jones.
Sandwich.
Monica Saylor. Sam Robinson.
A sandwich.
Me. I'm gonna go with the nachos answer. That's what I was thinking earlier. Joseph Tooney.
Question. What's the question?
Oh, if you could have your Thanksgiving meal in like any other form, such as like a candy or a pizza, what would it be? Megan Klein. Megan. Jerry Bielhauer.
A sandwich.
Ethan Chang.
Oh, I'm never on.
Yeah, I was told to add you.
I don't think sandwich to it.
Well, now you know. Sonia Lovely.
Ice cream.
Mo.
Sandwich.
Okay, cool guys. Sorry, that was a little bit weird.
Awesome.
It's too creative.
Much respect to your mom.
We need a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes.
We'll now vote on the motion to approve the minutes. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstained? The minutes are approved. Awesome. Okay, so for executive announcements, we have session 2 of the NDPD SUGO self-defense classes. So that's tonight from 7:30 to 9 and step in. We also have Kaleidoscope. So tell everybody to show out on Friday from 4:30 to 7:30 on Library Lawn. And then we have SAO times SUGO skate night, and that will be in the Compton Family Ice Arena. Also this Friday from 8 to 10. So it should be super fun. Don't miss out on it. And then I've linked the prayer form again. Please exercise your faith if you have one. If you don't, that's totally fine as well. And then my other form I've linked here is for the location for Senate for next semester. So there's 2 options. Please fill out the form during the meeting. And yeah. So next we have the State of the Union given by Jerry.
All right.
Remind me on the camera. My mother watches this, Mary.
Alright. The Notre Dame Student Union Senate presents you my second State of the Union address and the first of this academic year. I'll start by detailing some of the key accomplishments of the executive cabinet this far. So we put on a number of themed weeks. The Department of National Affairs and Political Engagement's flagship achievement was the Civic Engagement Week. And then the Department of Health and Wellness ran 5 days of programming during Steps to Wellness Week. Well, the Department of Title IX Women's Initiatives are responsible for Red Zone Awareness Week, and the Department of First Gen Low Income capped off Fly Week with the Golden Generation Dinner. There's just a few different weeks of programming we've done. Some additional major events include Student Life Cycle in the Field, the Community Engagement Fair, Academic Exploration Fair, organized by Community Service and Academic Affairs respectively, as well as the Sustainability Cup for our Sustainability Department. South Bend Engagement has helped bring in vendors for 2 farmers market events. And Faith has collaborated with others on a number of prayer services while working on finding a speaker for the annual Catholic Speaker Series. The LGBTQ Advocacy Department is working with Campus Ministry on a panel discussion, and the Department of Race, Ethnicity, and International Engagement is hosting their biggest event at this point, Glasgow, on Friday, as Sonia mentioned. On the policy front, a myriad of developments have occurred over the past few months. University policy has worked with facilities on sidewalk improvements across campus. Student-athlete relations has been meeting with athletics to build that relationship and find out the scope of that department. And disability advocacy is pursuing the creation of a disability studies minor. And as you all know, Campus Nutrition's goal of instituting grab-and-goes and Dunkin' with campus dining have come to fruition. We're excited to use the results of this week's survey, that's now in the email on Monday, to further address student concerns. Moreover, Campus Technology and Innovation is hard at work with campus partners building out the ND AI tool. Finally, we have Fuel, who have assigned the cohort of 26 first years to their respective departments in communications, who've been putting out high quality videos and graphics. Now, outside of StuGov, the student union has been just as prosperous. We have the Judicial Council, for example. They are excited to introduce new voter turnout initiatives this year. They'll give out $50 gift cards to random voters of the class with the highest voter turnout between the sophomore, junior, and senior class council elections. The FYCC elections, $50 gift cards were given actually to the hall with the highest voter turnout percentage. For a hall senate and presidential and VP elections, a $1,000 blank check will be awarded to the hall with the highest voter turnout percentage. And this year, they will seek to expand incentives to student body presidential election as well. Next, we have Sub, who has put over 20 events this semester already, including favorites like the South Bend Cubs game, Fall Mall, and Acoustic Cafe. They've welcomed a group of 25 first years into their first look at a programming committee, whose first event is actually tomorrow. And they're also excited about their event with Josh Peck today, and have a lot of things in the works for the spring, including more live speakers, a revamped Amtosta week, and of course, the Sound of Subcouncil. The Financial Management Board has moved to an electronic application for the charity fund to increase accessibility and efficiency of the application process for students facing pressing medical expenses. And additionally, after months of deliberation, as you all know, they passed a bill to reintegrate Irish Gardens into the student union after 7 years of operating separately. This will help fund their growth opportunities and contribute a portion of their profits to the student union endowment. The CCC has been in the middle of reviewing prospective club applications of probationary clubs. Beyond that, they've added 20+ members this semester after a mass graduation of seniors last year. They also had a successful spring allocation, as always. Off-Campus Council has started some new efforts this year to educate underclassmen about off-campus living options and things they should consider before signing those leases. They also been meeting with OCC ambassadors from various off-campus locations to put together events and bring seniors together. They have a walk to school day coming up along with a Chipotle fundraiser. The Hall President's Council, or HPC, has reported that they are also thriving with a variety of programming, campus partnerships, and successful signature events. They've introduced new dorm service partnerships and many exciting collabs with departments on campus. The HPC website is also updated and the Instagram is active. They can confirm that presidents are working very hard to their respective halls to ensure quality programming and leadership. Last but not least, the class councils. Senior class council's first event was the South Bend Cubs game, where Diego actually threw out the first pitch. Since then, each of their committees has hosted multiple events, including service events at South Bend, concession stand, and merch sales. Currently, they're working on planning the 100 Days Dance, sports events for the spring, and of course, Senior Week. Junior Class Council had their most successful concession stand to date, with an assisted living facility as well, and are also in the midst of planning their first ever fall semester formal. Baltimore Class Council also executed a successful class concession stand and have been locked in with more event planning. FYCC, only 4 weeks after the formation of their committees, expects to have 2 events prior to the semester's conclusion: a wellness lecture from Father Malloy himself, as well as a gratitude event to give thanks to the hall cleaning staff. Their concession stand for the Syracuse home game is taking place this weekend, which will help fund the class formal in the spring. Thanks for listening to the State of the Union address. I'm happy to announce that every branch is working hard on behalf of the student body, and I look forward to seeing that continue as we enter next semester.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jerry. Okay, so last week this was a new business, so it's been put up to general orders. If there is no
Motion to dispense with orders.
Second.
we now vote on the motion to dispense with reading. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstain? The reading is dispensed with. We are now in questioning. And Sam is here.
Yes.
Like, what's the main goal of this piece of legislation? Like, you just had to.
Yeah, great question. Thank you for that. So right now, there are a lot of insular positions to certain student union organizations that have a very long and drawn out process for that individual to be replaced, per se, if there are performance concerns. So I like to use the example of the Judicial Council Vice President for Operations. I love Caroline. There are no concerns about her performance, obviously, but most people don't even know that there's a Judicial Council Vice President of Operations. Yet because that position is a Senate confirmed position, in order for that individual to be removed from their position, they would have to go before the Ethics Council, and then they would be entitled to a two-part process before the Senate, where there would be an impeachment hearing and a removal hearing if the Ethics Council says so. And so this kind of bypasses that Ethics Council hump and brings it down from a 2-day process in Senate to a 1-day process in Senate, which allows for certain positions, not elected positions, but Senate confirmed positions, to kind of have a speedier process for that individual to be removed at the direction of their organization if there are concerns about performance.
Is there a reason that you found this necessary?
Yeah, so a little bit of context about where this really like sprang up from. So Judicial Council did the bylaw review kind of at the end of last term and the beginning of this term. And we found a couple of bylaws where there were some questions or concerns about how certain individuals could be removed and some constitutional discrepancy. And so a question kind of popped up, well, like for certain organizations where you do have more insular positions like Judicial Council Vice President of Operations, or maybe even like an executive cabinet director, like what should that process for removal look like? And does it make sense that they're entitled to the same process as like a senator is if they're not elected? And again, they have a more insular role. And so this kind of came out of some discussion regarding how we could best make the process a little bit more efficient moving forward. And so that's kind of the background where this came from.
Would this then affect people who are solely nominated by the Senate, or would this affect other people who are executives?
This would not, so there are some carve outs, so this would not impact anyone who is an executive officer of like the student union, i.e. like the chief of staff or the executive controller. It would not impact anyone that is elected to office, nor would it impact like Senate officers, if that makes sense. But anyone else who is like confirmed to a position, like again, I keep on going back to the Judicial Council Vice President of Operations example, it would impact like a position like along those lines or an executive cabinet director position, if that makes sense. It answers your question.
In order for the like the branch of that, like whatever branch of the student union it belongs to submit a bill of removal, like who would be making that decision within that organization, or would there be like 2/3 of the organization have to take a vote to remove that, like how does that work?
Yeah, great question. So we actually debated about this a lot in Committee on the Constitution, not last Sunday, but the Sunday before for about an hour. And so it was set upon like that we shouldn't have a standardized way in which people introduce bills of removal. Rather, we leave it up to the bylaws of each organization and we mandate that they write something about it in their bylaws. So for your class council, for example, you could make it a 2/3 vote of the officership or the general membership or whatever, or you could have another organization that takes a different approach where it's a simple majority, or where maybe one person just has the ability to do it if they want to. Like it was very much so we are allowing like individual student union organizations to kind of tailor this to their wants and needs as to how they want to run their membership, if that makes sense.
A point of increase, so that would require the bylaws of all the class councils to be reworked on an as-needed basis, depending on what Judicial Council sends to all the officers, right?
Not quite. So if this piece of legislation were to pass, it would require that all student union organizations update their bylaws to include some way or some method in which they would go about introducing a bill of removal, but not at J Council's discretion or anything like that. We might send out like a reminder email or whatever. But for the most part, this just allows you to, this just tells you that you have to write something in your bylaws about this process so that it is clear, if that makes sense.
But theoretically, because all the class council officers are like voted upon, this wouldn't apply to class council officers, correct?
Yes.
And then we have our own discretion to remove like anyone on the council if we see fit that would not have to go through Senate, right?
Yes, so if this would not impact positions that are people who are not elected to their positions and are not Senate confirmed. So if your organization has positions that are not Senate confirmed and are not like elected positions, this would not impact them at all.
Would judicial council be able to introduce bill of removal for non-judicial council people?
No, Judicial Council does not have that power, nor has ever had that power. Judicial Council does not have the capability actually to introduce bills of removal. The Student Union Ethics Council is the only organization, along with student union senators, who currently have this power. So this does nothing to the structure or role of Judicial Council in the removal process, which is quite limited.
Motion to move out of questioning and into debate. Second.
We're now vote on the motion to move out of questioning into debate. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstain? We are now in debate.
So I was on the Constitution meeting where we talked about this for like an hour. It got dry around the end, but this I think is kind of an important change because it does fast track some general removal. Instead of taking a month, it takes about 2 weeks to get rid of someone who might be negligent in their duties. This could be particularly pertinent for positions where there's a timeline. I'm thinking maybe VP of elections, where if they're not doing their job, they kind of need to get out or else bad stuff will happen. And I know there were concerns brought up about just kind of the fairness of the process. I have I feel pretty confident about this because the biggest entity, the student senate, is still gonna have a say in whether or not the people leave, so I still think there can be fairness, even though this process is sped up.
So I also was present at that committee meeting. Only one person has ever been removed from their position by the Senate. And we have an existing process for impeachment and removal that works. For that reason, I don't think this amendment is necessary and I'm not in favor of it because I foresee situations in which it would cause more problems than it would fix.
Yeah, I would recommend that the Senate adopt this amendment, I guess obviously, because I wrote it. I just think that there are some good like questions regarding efficiency that can play into, like, does it make sense that someone like, again, a position that no one's ever heard of, like the judicial council vice president of operations, is entitled to the same removal process as the like duly elected senator? Like, I think that's an interesting question that can be addressed. Simultaneously, I chaired the committee on the Constitution meeting. The committee did vote in a 9-1 vote to recommend that the Senate adopt this amendment. And I just think that it can really fast track some options if there are concerns in certain departments whose memberships are more confirmation heavy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, whoever was, I forget which one it was, saying that it'll cause more problems than it'll solve. I was wondering if you could sort of elaborate on the problems that it would cause.
Yeah, so I foresee situations in which if a branch has power to issue a bill of removal for somebody without the oversight of the ethics council or an independent branch, then people might be removed for like personal disagreements. And I think that that's kind of a problem. The existing process requires somebody to be sent to the ethics council for a bill of removal to be issued. And I think that that's a good check and balance in place to ensure that like an outside independent branch is reviewing a situation rather than like something purely coming from within.
Well, I think that, and I might have this wrong, Sam, so jump in, but I think we have that power to check them. And so I think it's a good amendment.
Yeah, I think we still do have the power to review that, but I think it's important that at the ethics council reviews it first before it becomes like a big public affair.
Like I do remember like in the meeting, you also did talk about how like we can have every like subset of Senate like have review their bylaws to make sure that there's no point of that animosity indicated in there. And I feel like Sam also wrote about that in memorandum as well. So
Yeah, just building off that point, the concern about kind of like the fairness of the process, we kind of settled upon the idea of in the First Amendment mandating that organizations write about this in their bylaws, so that there is a clear and fair process that organization membership agrees to. Because in order for an organization to amend their bylaws, they do require a 2/3 majority, and so there's this idea that an organization would have to have consensus as to what that removal process would kind of look like internally before it reached the Senate or anything like that. And so that was kind of the consideration that we talked about, building off Josephine's point in the committee, to make sure that there was some like balance and fairness throughout the entire process while ensuring that there was efficiency as well.
I still just don't think this is necessary because we've only been in one situation where a person has been removed by the Senate. And I think our existing process allows for checks and balances, and so I just don't see the need to like.
I think it's possible that the reason why there was one person who has been removed, obviously I'm not an expert on the history of this, but if a process is so difficult that it can't get through the ethics council, it would make sense that only one person has actually made it to the Senate. If we can create something like this that can actually show efficiency in different organizations, where people who aren't doing their job can get removed, so someone else who's much more efficient, much more beneficial to the organization can work instead. I think doing that is much beneficial than just lagging behind and possibly having that person not moved off.
During my time in the judicial council, we did have one instance in which an individual was not behaving, I guess, up to par with their job. And that was handled within the ethics council and resolved within there without issue. I'm not familiar of any other situations in which a person was not like meeting the requirements of their job and ethics refused to address it. But a person can be sent ethics again and they like refuse to do their job. And I think ethics as it stands is pretty good at handling that stuff.
Motion to move out of debate and into the vote.
We'll now vote on the motion to move out of debate into a vote. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstain? We will now vote on SO 2526-13 in order to amend the Constitution regarding removals. All those in favor? All opposed? All abstain? It passes. Okay. Looking next, we have nothing in new business today. So announcements. Anyone?
Spring election showcase is December 8th, so if you're thinking about running for elected office, I'd say you should probably come. I know a lot of you are gonna be speaking at it, and if you're not speaking,
Today is the last day that junior class council merch is on sale, so get it while you can. It's super cute or cool if you don't like the cute adjective. Also we have formal coming up. We can semi announce the date. It's December 6th, but that's save the date is the best way I can say it. Also, Harmonia concert is December 5th. And if you want a ticket, I have them here. So you should definitely support 25 years of Harmonia, only female acapella group on campus.
KFM's Turkey Trot is this Sunday. It's only $10 and there's a prize. It goes to charity. You can sign up online or on our Instagram.
The Coital Car Smash is this Friday, and all proceeds will be going to St. A's local Catholic church and school. At your last mall, by the way.
First year class council, this got mentioned by Jerry a little bit, but first year class council is hosting a concession stand on South Quad by the flagpole. We really appreciate you show up, and we've got important things like hand warmers and Polaroids to sell all day, so be great.
Awesome. Okay, seeing no more announcements.
Motion to adjourn.
We'll now vote on the motion to adjourn. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstain? We are adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.